2 Canadian geese not only landed in front of me on the road, but they chose to slowly stroll across 2 lanes of traffic without ever stopping to look at me. I'm Arrow, and this is The Choice. Today we're going to put focus on how animals reach out to you during these days of digital disaster, and yet you don't hear a single word that they're sharing with you. But many times you'll accuse God of never speaking to you, when the fact of the matter is, maybe God is, through the use of his other creations. This is what I was writing 10 minutes before the lights went out at Elevation Church, Gastonia. First of all, I was in shock that the Canadian geese decided to land on the street in front of me and then slowly walk across traffic without ever stopping to look at me to say, "Yo, hey, dude, thanks for giving us the opportunity to step across these wide lines of life just to prove to the chicken how easily the journey can truly be." And instantly I started thinking about Christianity. People make it tough. People quit too easily when the reality is God has never quit. It's too easy to walk into a church and pick up the daily message, when the fact of the matter is, it's like the writing instruments they give you or the little note cards. On our way out, we set them on the table right before we leave the building, without ever putting into use the actual messages that God wanted you to hear. It's kind of like my radio dreams. It was very easy for me to grab those dreams in 1979 and set aside my passion for God. If I could go back and do one thing in my life, it would be to tell KOYN Radio in Billings, Montana that I cannot step into their studio and click on those blue glowing lights inside those tower chargers at 6 a.m. I just want you to know that I need to be with a much bigger power at that time. But then again, if I had done that, my radio dreams would have stood in the center of a street, looking at the traffic march by. Traffic that would rather run over me than to stop and take in a message. So what does it mean in 2014 for the Canadian geese to suddenly appear on the road, to slowly make their way to the other side of their reality? Because I study Native American spirituality, I had to look into the situation, and this is what I learned. When you are spoken to by a goose, what you are to do is to call out to your ancestors for their guidance and protection. And once you do, you'll notice a significant change in your spiritual awareness. But what, in this age of endless change, is an ancestor, when nearly next to every one of us have sacrificed everything we've got in the name of just keeping a job? Who is your ancestor? Your boss? Your co-worker? Do you really have a family? Maybe the spiritual journey is, it's time to find out who your brothers and sisters are again. Because in God's world, life is about this long. And the strangest thing is that when he brings a family together through birth, that family lasts even shorter. By choice. We choose to run 2,000 miles away from home. I did. I haven't spoken to my brother in nearly 30 years because of something that happened 35 years ago. We make choices in our life to move forward, thinking that our past is going to be erased because they want us to live in the moment. And yet we are constantly told that the lessons that we want to forget are what shapes our future. Maybe it's time that we do learn to listen to our ancestors. But in a world that's been overtaken by corporate America and corporate businesses that want, you got to ask yourself, who is your ancestor? A mentor? Is it somebody from the university that gave you life inside that room? Someone who believes in everything that you bring to the world? Who is your modern day ancestor? Because if it's not family, somebody has helped create who it is that you have become. And maybe that's where the silence started. Look out across that horizon. Don't just stare at the brilliant colors of an unforgettable sunset. Why not, for the first time in 30 or 35 years, reach out there and become a part of the rainbow that becomes the horizon? I'm Arrow, And that's what I was writing 10 minutes before the lights went out as I continued my journey to visit all the campuses at Elevation Church. This week, I was at Elevation Church, Gastonia.